So we now want to talk about left flamingo stance, or LFS. Hwoarang has a lot of ways to enter LFS, and most of them are plus on block. This is because of Hwoarang's character design of being a mix-up heavy rushdown character. And the most common ways to enter LFS would be, in my opinion, so please don't quote me on this one, 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3, which are jab strings that can enter both LFS and RFS. They are both plus 3 on block. 3, 3 forward and LFS 3 forward. They both end with the same kick, and they're only plus 2 on block. Crush dash 3, which is a very good approaching tool. It wall bounces and puts Hwoarang at plus 4 in your face whenever you block it. LFS forward 3, which is similar to crouch dash 3 being also at plus 4 on block. But this one is done from left flamingo instead. This also, by the way, is a counter hit launcher, and could be done as a frame trap after right stance forward 3. Sidestep 3-3, which can be ducked if you're sharp. This also puts Hwoarang at plus 3. But so far, the ones that are very good on block are up 3, which puts Hwoarang at plus 5 in left flamingo stance. So if you try anything that is 11 frames and slower, Hwoarang will just launch you if he tries left flamingo stance back 4. So keep that in mind. And the best one would be right stance forward 3. This one is a high, but it puts Hwoarang at plus 12 on block, so it basically gives him a free forward 2+3 throw attempt, which means that you can never duck this throw, you can only try to break it with 1+2. Unfortunately, there's nothing much that you can do here whenever you block this, because plus 12 is simply too much of a frame advantage. However, every follow-up except the jab LFS1 could still be parried. I know I still haven't mentioned all of them, well, because I want to keep this video informative and also not cram you with too much information at the same time. So if you have some experience in fighting Hwoarang, then you might have tried dig jabs against his Flamingo Pressure. That might be a good idea since it beats most of Hwoarang's options, but keep in mind that Hwoarang has options out of left Flamingo that totally destroy a dig jab. He has two options out of left flamingo, which are instant low crushes. One is LFS upward 4, which is a launcher. If you block this is minus 14, so Law gets a free 3+4. And Hunting Hawk, which is safe, but a slower option. Hwoarang can also do the homing power crush, LFS back 3, which just armors through a dick jab because it's a special mid and not a low. So what people say about how to deal with Hwoarang's flamingo stances is to step to the side at where Hwoarang's stomach is facing. Or in other words, step left if Hwoarang is in left flamingo, and step right if Hwoarang is in right flamingo. That is correct, though Hwoarang has few moves that track from those stances. But given that Hwoarang doesn't have enough frame advantage, stepping left will deal with most of the LFS options. In this example, we're going to use Crouch Dash 3 as their entry move since it gives a decent +4 advantage to Hwoarang, and also doesn't push us back far enough. And here are some of the LFS options that we can step towards the left. LFS 3 and its extensions. LFS down 3-4, which is a really annoying move, we're gonna get into this later. LFS 1, which is the fastest move from LFS. This is not a 10 frame jab, but a 13 frame jab. But it puts Hwoarang at +5, so he can then try to frame trap you with a forward 1+2, so just keep that in mind. Note that because this is the fastest move out of LFS, it also recovers fast, so you might want to do a faster move to punish this on whiff. Like for example, lost 3-4, and I myself like to do 4-3 into DSS. So aside from those, here are other moves that you can step. But for Hwoarang's striking options, he can do the homing LFS back 3, in which he can still try to do a sidestep left into a block. And remember that this move is -12, so Law gets a 3-4 every time he blocks this. Hwoarang can also do LFS back 4. This also tracks if you step to the left. This, by the way, is a counter hit launcher, but you won't get counter hit out of a sidestep unless you're pressing buttons. Keep in mind that you can still step this, but you need to go to the right instead. And then there's also LFS 2-2, which is the mid punch string from LFS. Like LFS back 4, it tracks if you step to the left, but not if you step to the right. Though the second hit will try to realign with you, so always be prepared to duck this. And finally, there's LFS down back 4. This low tracks both ways, but it's slow enough that you can attempt a sidestep into a low parry. Okay, so after left Flamingo, we now want to go to right Flamingo. Right Flamingo is more dangerous in my opinion than left Flamingo, because a lot of the moves that Hwoarang uses to enter this stance are a lot more plus on block. I'm talking about being +7 or better. Here are the moves that I'm talking about. 3-3-4, you can try ducking the 4, but of course there's also a mid mix up to that, which is 3-3-3. Next is LFS 3-4, the shorter version of 3-3-4, but this one comes out of left Flamingo. Forward 4, kinda like right stance forward 3, but comes out from left stance. It's slower and less advantageous, but it still puts Hwoarang at +9 on block. Down 3-4, this very annoying move, which is arguably one of Hwoarang's best moves. This can also be done out of right stance and left Flamingo. This is a natural combo normal hit, which puts Hwoarang at a massive +14 on hit. Even when you block this, it's still +8. So you always would want to duck this move, but at the same time, you would want to avoid getting hit by the low. RFF or RFS 2-4. Double high, jails and +7. RFF 4. It's a single high and it's also +7. RFF down forward 4. The mid version of the last move, it's also +7. RFF 3-4, this one is +10 on block, but you can duck or parry this on reaction. One 2-4 and 2-4, they're both only +3 on block, so a jab will trade if Hwoarang tries RFS 2. But be careful of pressing buttons because you might get launched if Hwoarang tries RFS 4-4-4. And we're gonna be talking about that in a bit. Up 4. Like the last move, this one is also +3 on block. RFS 4-4-4 also becomes uninterruptible. Alright, so far those are the best right Flamingo entry moves in my opinion. I haven't included all of them because I don't want to cram you with too much information. And the purpose of this video is not to teach us how to play Hwoarang anyway. So far, you may have noticed that a lot of right Flamingo entry moves all end with a high right kick. Of course, we can just try ducking them all, but we cannot just launch Hwoarang with a 15-frame launcher. In Law's case, we cannot just use while standing too. That is because of this move. Right Flamingo stands forward 4-4, which is an 8-frame high counter hit launcher. So if you try a while standing 2 with Law, you can end up being the one launched instead. So what are the properties of right Flamingo stance forward 4-4? As you can see, it's a double high, or triple if you want to say that. But what matters is that the last hit can be ducked on reaction. The string is also hard to hit confirm, so Hwoarang might need to commit to the last hit every time he does this. But in my opinion, blocking isn't really great of an option because it just allows Hwoarang to do his other right Flamingo options. So instead we can try to do our faster moves or something that will go under RFS 4-4-4. For example, like while standing 1-2 in a slide. But remember that Hwoarang has a power crush out of right Flamingo, which is RFS back 4. But remember, we're not just playing any character, we're playing martial law. So what can Law do that is fast enough and at the same time can destroy a power crush? Lo and behold, we have full crouch for free. This is a 12 frame low counter hit launcher which high crushes instantly. The perfect answer for this situation, so if Hwoarang dares to do anything during right Flamingo, he will just get launched by this move. Of course, we're not gonna leave this looking like it's the perfect unbeatable way to get around this situation because there's a way for Hwoarang to counter this. Hwoarang could simply choose not to do a move from right Flamingo to bait out full crouch for free, and then he gets a free back free or even a skyrocket. Okay, so I didn't even realize that we still haven't talked about stepping the right Flamingo option, so here we go. So what they say is that it's preferable to step Hwoarang to the direction his stomach is facing. Therefore, we want to step to the right whenever we see right Flamingo. Or is it? But since a lot of his entry moves to right Flamingo are very advantageous on block, a number of his moves become unsteppable when he has a big frame advantage. Because of this, we're gonna use different entry moves for different frame situations. So here are the moves that we can or we cannot step. Right Flamingo stance down forward 4. This is a very linear counter hit launcher. It becomes uninterruptible every time Hwoarang is at +7 or better. And it's also at +1 on block to keep Hwoarang's momentum going. However, this is also slow enough that we can still try to step it when Hwoarang is at +10. Next is right Flamingo stance back 3. This one can still be stepped when Hwoarang is at best +7, but certainly not when Hwoarang is at +8 or better. RFS down 3. Same with this one. This can be stepped when Hwoarang is at +7, but certainly not at +8 or better. But we can still sidestep and duck this. RFS forward 3-4. You can step this move when Hwoarang is at +3. But at +7 or better, you can't, but you can still duck the second hit if you get hit by the first. RFS 1. This move can't be stepped at +7 or better, but you certainly can at +3. RFS 2. This move can be stepped both ways at +3, but not at all at +7 or better. Unless you have pushback. RFS 3. This move can also be stepped both ways at +3, but only to the left at +8 and +7. At +9 and +10 you still can, but you would have to do a sidewalk left instead of a sidestep left. RFS 4. This move can also be stepped both ways at +3, but not anymore at +7. Alright, so that was quite a list to remember. So we now move on to the options that you simply cannot step. RFS down 4-3. This move is the low that we fear the most from RFS. This simply cannot be stepped most of the time. However, it can still be sidewalk left. But that's only when Hwoarang pushes you back far enough, so I would not recommend this. I think it's better to just sidestep right and block, but you may get caught by the other faster options. RFS back 4, the homing power crush, but it's also slow enough that you can still block after stepping. Remember that this is -12 on block. And RFS forward 4, this move is just too fast, but because it is at +7 or better, you don't have time to step this move, that your character will just block on their own. So as far as the saying goes, step Hwoarang to where his stomach is facing, well, we just found out that we can definitely step the right Flamingo options as long as Hwoarang has a light advantage of +3. But that simply isn't the case whenever he's at +7 or better. Most of the moves from right Flamingo are fast enough that you don't have time to step them all when Hwoarang has the plus frames. And some of them, you even have to step the other way. So whenever Hwoarang is at +7 or better, I would suggest to just use a parry instead, but still be careful of the delayed hits and lows. Alright, so what else? I guess it's time to wrap this up, you guys. Overall, this took a lot of research from me. From what I can say, I also learned a lot while making this guide. I'm not a Hwoarang player by any means, so if you're a Hwoarang player, please point out some of the mistakes that I made in this video by commenting down below. So if you guys like this video, and if you want to see more guides like this, you can support the channel through my Patreon, or you can simply donate any amount through PayPal. And also, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time there's a new video up. And again, thank you guys for watching the video.